Started. Please stand for the pledge. Thank you. Madam Secretary, please conduct roll call.
Chair Philip Lantry,
Present.
Vice Chair Russell Alexander,
Present.
Member Nanette Douglas,
Present.
Member Don Frisbee, excuse that. Member Ruby Bridgeport,
Present.
Casey Snyder.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, first order of business is approval of the minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes from the last meeting? Is there any questions or comments? Would somebody like to entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Okay, we have Daisy
Snyder.
making a motion and Ruby seconding that motion. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All right. Our first action item for tonight is ordinance number 2025-04. This is for Edgewater West, and it appears that we have three ordinances that are all together. Should we read these in together?
Yes.
All right, so we have an annexation, ANX 24-00005. We have ordinance number 2025-05, which is a comprehensive plan amendment, CPA 24-00008. And we have ordinance number 2025-06, which is a zoning map amendment, which is ZMA 24-00008.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, before the beginning of the agenda for the public here, as well as a reminder to the commission, just a general comment that the commission is here as an advisory commission to make recommendations to the city council. They're not here tonight to answer questions, but they are here to take your feedback. If you wish to speak on any item this evening, please come to the podium, state your name and address clearly at the time that you're called, and make your presentation. If you do wish to speak, and if you haven't done so already, there is a form that our clerk has that you'll need to fill out either before or certainly after you've made your presentation, because we need that for the file and for the public records. All right? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Good evening, Ralph Keith, Associate Planner with Community Development. Tonight, the case before you is for an annexation, comprehensive plan amendment, and zoning map amendment for the project known as Edgewater West. The parcel is contiguous and reasonably compact. It abuts the city limits along the east, west, and south property boundaries. It has an existing county future land use of mixed use and existing county zoning of mixed use. The applicant is proposing a future land use of mixed use city and proposing a zoning of mixed use city. The development is compatible with the surrounding area and will have no adverse impacts on city facilities. Here is a graphic representation of the parcels in question to be annexed, as well as a graphic representation of the future land use. As you can see, is surrounded by future land use of mixed use in the county. And here is a graphic representation of the zoning. On or before March 25th, 2025, staff recommended approval. Likewise, is requested that the Planning Commission also recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-04, ordinance number 2025-05, and ordinance number 2025-06. Staff and the applicant are available for questions.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to come forward and speak on this? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Allison Jones with Dickinson Wright, 1508 Highland Road in Winter Park. I'm here on behalf of the applicant for all three items. We do agree with staff's recommendation, and we would ask for your recommendation as well. I'm happy to answer any questions. If members of the public wish to speak first, I'm happy to come back up and address any issues. But thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Did anybody in the commission have any questions for the applicant prior to public comment? No?
No.
Okay. At this time, we will allow for public comment. I do have one individual that submitted a form to make a public comment. If you don't know already, you have to fill out this form here. If you'd like to make a public comment on any of the items for this evening. The first person I have here is James Lamb. Would you like to speak? Please state your name and address for the record.
James Lamb, and I live at 2860 Stagecoach Road, which is adjacent to what's about to be annexed.
Thank you.
My general comment is when the area that's adjacent to this, I believe that after this occurs and you guys annex the property that's in question here, we're going to be surrounded on all four sides of the city. I understand that I'm not really supposed to ask questions here, but according to what I've been told in previous meetings, that means that we're up next to get annexed. If that occurs, when we bought our land out here, it was mixed use agricultural. We live on 5 acre to 1 acre tracts, horses, cows, llamas. We have livestock. And my question is there going to be some sort of grandfathering in of our residences that will allow us to keep our animals or whatever other businesses we have? Because I know that they are not allowed in city limits, even chickens and roosters and stuff. So what's going to happen when this gets annexed and then we come up against city rules?
It's fine to make your comments and even to ask rhetorical questions, but the commission's not in a role to provide answers to those questions. They are here to take your feedback and any other public comment that wishes to be presented. There may be response from staff in some fashion and or the applicant, but that's not the role of the commission. They sit as an advisory body to take the feedback and the information.
Okay,
Thank you,
but
sir.
I guess consider that a rhetorical question then. And I guess that's about it. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. I'm sure staff can answer your questions, but before they do that, do we have anybody else in the public that would like to speak on either of these three ordinances, 2025-0506 or 07? I'm sorry, 0405 or 06 for Edgewater West. Okay. Could I have the city staff, could you answer some of his, okay, are you answering it?
Do they want to answer it? We're public in here in case others are interested. Yeah, I think some other people want to hear the answer too, so.
Hi, Melissa Dunklin, Director of Community Development. So typically, if a property is surrounded on all sides of their property, then they become an enclave and we will annex them as an enclave. Typically, if it's not an enclave until the property owner decides to develop the property, it remains in the county unless there's some sort of trigger for staff to seek voluntary annexation. And regarding the agricultural uses, the city has what's the word I'm looking for? Not consistent when it transfers the classified lands. Thank you. We have equivalent land use and zoning to the county, and they will be able to keep whatever existing uses they have until they make application to develop. And I apologize, I'm on cold medicine, so my brain may lag a little bit tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you feel better. All right, at this time, if we have no other members of the audience to speak on either of these three ordinances, we will close public comment. Do we have any comments among the commission members?
No.
I do have an
So-
ask of, oh, sorry, go ahead, Russell.
Just to be clear, if any property is surrounded on four sides by the city, they can be involuntarily annexed at that time?
So we have a joint planning agreement with Osceola County. If a parcel or more than one parcel becomes an enclave through any development processes, we have an agreement with Osceola County that technically requires us to annex them because it's a more efficient use of city services and county services. So it doesn't make sense for the county to have to provide services to properties that is completely surrounded by city limits.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do have a question for city staff. I don't know if it's in this presentation, but in the packet that we received, there was some, can we look at the 16 findings for ordinance number 2025-04? Are you able to bring that up? Is that in the presentation?
It is not in the presentation. It's not in the presentation.
No? Okay.
For the annexation piece, it's essentially statutory in the fact that whether it's proper under the statute contiguous and such. This is a voluntary annexation as well. So if it meets the statutory definitions, then it's right to be presented as such. 16 findings are addressed, but they're more addressed in terms of the comprehensive plan, land use, if you will, and zoning, annexation. There is a relevance to the 16 findings, but it's not ordinarily addressed in a bullet point fashion in the staff report on the annexation piece, usually.
Yeah, what I was going to mention was on one of the 16 findings, it mentioned something about that basically the annexation or the comprehensive plan amendment would not have any adverse effects on the area. And I understand that this was approved in the county first and that it's part of the joint planning area. And so that's why we're seeing this for annexation. But I want to say this for the record because I sat here 3 years ago and I said this was a bad idea to have all of this construction and building and housing going on in Edgewater because we have one entrance in and one entrance out. And so for the record, I just want to say that I think this is a bad idea. I think the county should have never approved these. And I understand that the city's just kind of taking over what the county already started. But if you've been in that area, it is exploding. I mean, literally exploding. I mean, we're talking thousands of houses with one way in and one way out across Kissimmee Park Road, or Clay Whaley as it's called now. So do with that what you will. But I just wanted to make that point before we vote on this. And do we have any other comments or discussion? All right, do I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to recommend the approval of ordinance number 2025-04 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
Okay, we have a motion from Nanette Douglas to approve ordinance number 2025-04. Do we have a second?
I second.
All right, we have a second from Daisy Snyder. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Motion passes 4-1. All right, ordinance number 2025-05. Do I have a motion?
I would like to make a motion to recommend the approval of ordinance number 2025-05 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a motion from Ms. Douglas. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
That was Ruby, right?
Yes.
That you second? Okay,
Yes.
we have a second from Ruby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Here are three, all opposed,
No,
and no for me as well. So motion passes 3-2. Just to check, you voted yes on the previous one, correct?
about it, yes, on annexation, yes.
Okay, just checking. And then we have ordinance number 2025-06. Do I have a motion?
Might as well keep going in it.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to recommend the approval of ordinance number 2025-06 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a motion from Ms. Douglas.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a second from Ms. Snyder. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, aye.
All right, all opposed?
No,
No. Motion
Pat-
passes 3-2.
Mr. Chairman, I can also clarify and correct myself insofar as in that packet on page 21, there is in fact a part of your staff report that speaks to the 16 findings on the annexation piece. It's under page, oh goodness, I had it right here. I think it's page 21 of the case packet. So for going forward on any annexations, those are contained in your report. I don't recall those being in past reports, but they're there now.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Mhm.
All right, next order of business is ordinance number 2025-07. This is McKay Street. This is a comprehensive plan amendment, CPA 24-00004. And we have a second ordinance for McKay Street as well. It's 2025-08. This is a zoning map amendment, which is case number ZMA 24-00004.
Good evening, Ralph Keith with Community Development. The project before you is for a comprehensive plan amendment and zoning map amendment for the project known as McKay Street. It is located within the city limits. It has existing future land use of commercial and existing zoning of NB neighborhood business. The applicant is proposing a future land use update to medium density residential, and they are proposing a zoning of R3 multifamily dwelling. The development is compatible with the surrounding area. It will have no adverse impacts on city facilities. Here is a graphic representation of the location of the property. Here is a graphic representation of the zoning. As you can see to the south, it does abut neighborhood business and highway business. On or before March 25th, 2025, staff recommends denial. Likewise, it is recommended that the Planning Commission also recommends denial. For ordinance number 2025-07 and ordinance number 2025-08, the applicant and staff are available for questions.
Thank you. Do we have any initial questions for city staff?
I just want to check my understanding. It says that they're submitting for adjustment to medium density.
Yes, so currently, the parcel has a commercial future land use.
Okay,
And then the request for medium density would be to support residential, which would be a lower.
thank you.
And it's neighborhood commercial, correct? Or
Yes, it's
neighborhood business?
Neighborhood business.
So they're trying to change it to from neighborhood business to medium density residential,
Thank you.
R3.
Commercial to medium density, and then from neighborhood business to R3 multifamily
Thank you.
on the zoning. Yes, sir.
I have a question. I guess I'm questioning, what was the original, was it originally always zoned for commercial, or was at some point that zoning changed?
As far as city staff is aware, it has been zoned for commercial
Okay.
because that area is already developed for the most part.
Do you know where this is located?
Yep. I know
Okay.
exactly where it is.
The-
Right behind the Gerber.
Right.
uh,
the city, or rather the staff reports that should be contained in your packet for both of these items with the responses to the 16 items as contained as well for review. As appropriate.
All right, do we have any other questions for the city staff? If not, do we have the applicant present? Would you like to come up?
Good evening, Commission members. Jeremy Kibler, KDA Engineering, 2017 13th Street, St. Cloud, Florida, 34769. Just to better elaborate, the subject property, this parcel that you're reviewing here tonight was involuntarily annexed many years ago and assigned a future land use and zoning designation without the designation provided by an owner or a voluntary application. So it was involuntarily annexed and given that particular designation. The intent is actually to combine this parcel with another parcel that's under the same ownership to the north that already has the same exact future land use and zoning designation that you're considering here tonight. So it would be combined. And again, that future land use and zoning designation already exists today, is in place, and would be combined for a unified development. I would like to just state that it's our understanding that staff is recommending denial based upon a draft version of changes to the comprehensive plan. And again, that's draft at this point in time. It hasn't been brought forward. City Council has not approved it. So we're simply asking for you to make your review tonight, make your recommendation tonight based upon what's in place now, based upon the current comprehensive plan, the current land development code, not something that's in draft format that may or may not even be approved in the future. Again, I'm here to answer any questions you may have and respectfully request your recommendation of approval. Thank you.
Do we have a map that shows the northern property that you were referencing that it would combine with?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
Is it that pink one?
The little small one next to it.
That one.
Can city staff, can you clarify, is this the current land use or is this future land use that we're looking at here?
So I don't know if you want me to go ahead and elaborate on the map now. So basically what you're seeing right now is the combined parcel. So we combine the smaller piece to the north that you see entirety in blue that already has the requested future land use and zoning designation that we're requesting tonight for the southern piece. So that's the total combined parcel. And as you can see, you've got the Mark Mobile Home Park pretty much directly to the east of this property. And again, you know, this was involuntarily annexed over a decade ago, almost 2 decades ago, and just giving a future land use and zoning designation without consent at that particular point in time. Also, would like to just put back up the future land use map. It kind of really, the request tonight would almost bring uniformity to the map, if you will, as it currently sits. You'll see once I put this up that this piece kind of juts up and it kind of sticks out based on what is already developed as commercial. This is an undeveloped parcel.
The other ones are medium density.
So as you can see, this kind of sticks out, if you will, to the north. And so we're just kind of bringing uniformity. The request tonight would make that designation yellow, like everything else that you see around it. And happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Thank you.
Just checking my understanding on the graphic. The piece in the blue is the one that's already,
No, ma'am.
No.
The piece in the blue is the request tonight. If you look directly to the north and a little bit to the northeast, the other rectangular piece would be combined.
okay.
So it's a little bit smaller than this piece. I can get you the exact acreage here. It is 0.51 acres, so just over half an acre. The piece to the north of that would be combined with this parcel, which is 1.15 acres. And again, this is the current comprehensive plan that is adopted and effective today's date.
Did that clear everything up for you?
I think so. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for the applicant before we open public comment?
I guess I have a question. So this parcel in the comprehensive plan being considered, do any of the other residential medium density change, or is it just that one parcel that becomes commercial?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? Because it's already,
It's already.
It's commercial now.
Okay, so it's commercial now. So I guess my question is, why just that parcel, and not the other residentials that are surrounding it?
it could have just been a matter of how it was annexed in.
Okay.
You have a question?
So, yes, for city, if this was approved, or if this were to be approved by council, would they have to come back for any kind of design plans for any future building on that parcel?
Yes, any type of development, they would need to submit an application to be reviewed
Okay.
also.
Sorry. I just want to clarify, they would have to come back to city staff, not to planning
Not the
commission.
Planning commission or city council?
It depends. I'm not sure what the proposed development is. Maybe Mr. Kibler can tell us what the proposed development is. But if they don't do a subdivision plan, then they will never go back to planning or, to planning commission or city council. It'll go straight to staff. And just one more point of clarification. We were not recommending denial because of the proposed future land use map that has not been adopted yet. The reason why we recommended denial is because right now the city has a 0.5 to 1 jobs per housing ratio, meaning we have half a job for every household. And we don't want to further reduce the ability to create more jobs. So changing a land use from commercial to residential typically will reduce our ability to increase our jobs to housing balance. So that's why we're recommending denial. But obviously, we will take your recommendation as we receive it to City Council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kibler, would you like to come up and answer one of the questions? Was what is the plan for the property? I thought I saw somewhere in the application that townhomes was the consideration.
Correct. Yes, sir. It would be combined with the parcel to the north that we discussed. Would be fee simple residential townhomes. So the application would, in fact, come back before city council, before the planning commission, because it would be a subdivision. These are intended to be nice rear load residential fee simple townhomes, and they would of course meet all of the residential architectural design standards in the LDC, the Land Development Code as well. And I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more. You know, what was presented to us was that there is a pending comprehensive plan amendment that would introduce a completely new future land use designation of employment, which kind of correlates. That's my perception. That's what we were told at the time. I think it seems to kind of jive with that intent, and that's what staff's intent. Maybe they can elaborate a little bit more, but is creating a separate future land use designation of employment just for that specific purpose. And again, that's still in draft format, has not come before the council yet at this point in time, and may or may not receive approval. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. At this time, we would like to allow for public comment. Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak on either ordinance number 2025-07 or 2025-08? Okay. This time we will close public comment. and allow further discussion or any other questions from the commission.
So just checking my understanding, the area to the north is already townhomes. This would join it and become townhomes as well.
No. The area to the north is the future land use designation is R3.
But it's not necessarily townhomes yet.
No.
It's not, but the property owner owns that current small parcel there.
Thank you.
I just,
So it's zoned that way, but there's nothing there currently, really?
there's nothing there. It's available for neighborhood business.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And I know this isn't one of the 16 findings, but one of my concerns with townhomes in this area is, have you ever been down that street, McKay Street?
I have actually, yeah.
It's almost like a one-lane
Okay.
road, practically. It's very, very narrow. And if you look at the packet that we have, one of the findings, number 2, the proposed change would create an isolated district unrelated to the adjacent and nearby districts. The response to that is, although the proposed change would not create an isolated district, it contradicts with the goals and objectives of the city to increase and preserve existing commercial acreages as the population increases. So that's what Ms. Dunklin was talking about,
Yeah.
about losing some of the properties that we have currently zoned for commercial or future land use as neighborhood business in this case.
That is, it's 1 acre. It's already owned by someone. Go ahead.
Again, Jeremy Kibler, KDA Engineering. I mean, respectfully, our response to that particular item is that essentially that's what you already have. You have an isolated district. We're basically trying to bring uniformity to what's already there. So you would take what's there depicted in red, and that would become yellow. And again, we would, just as stated, we would combine that with a parcel to the north that already has the requested future land use and zoning designation as well. Thank you.
While you're there, can you explain, so number 7 in the 16 findings is the proposed change will adversely influence living conditions in the neighborhood. And the response is no, the subject property has direct access and frontage on a minor street, and the proposed change is expected to have a net reduction in trip generation compared to what is currently permitted.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you explain that? I don't really understand what you mean by less
You bet.
or a net reduction in trip generation.
Yes, sir. More than happy to do that. Very good question. So essentially, what we're looking at is with the current future land use and zoning designation as it is today, something that I could build would be medical office. And just for example, medical office for that particular parcel would create PM peak hour trips in a quantity of 43. So that's 43 PM peak hour trips for a medical office facility. If you were to respectfully recommend approval for this request that moved forward and did receive approval, that same exact acreage for townhomes would only generate 6 PM peak hour trips. So that's a significant difference. 43, 6. And just like you stated earlier, that roadway as it is right now, I see it more fit for residential development like it is today, not for commercial development. But hope, and if they have any other specific questions related to the trip generation, happy to answer that as well.
Yeah, I was just wondering how you came up with number 6 for townhomes. I'm not sure how many you could fit exactly. I think it would be,
It's
the
not-
math for this parcel, I think it was like something around 10 units.
No, sir. It's not a 1-for-1. So the PM peak hour trips is not, it's for townhomes. I'm using the ITE trip generation manual, which is accepted nationwide, 11th edition. And so it's not a one-for-one. So if I was to develop this particular property and receive the maximum density for that acreage, it would only create 6 PM peak hour trips. That's just trips. That's PM peak hour trips from 4 to 6 PM in the evening. That same medical office would have 43 trips. That's not, that's not even considering if it was retail or something else with a higher volume.
And roughly how many townhomes would fit in that parcel?
So just that parcel, the maximum density for the parcel being requested tonight would be 11. That's the max.
But the hope is that it's going to get combined with one of the ones that's already under that zoning, thus there'd be additional.
Correct, yes, ma'am. So if it was combined with the parcel to the north, then it would be a max of 16. So it would just increase by 5, 16. And still, even, I have that number for you as well. So not even, if we combine both parcels, you're looking at 9 PM peak hour trips for the combined parcels together as a townhome development. And if I'm still only looking at the same smaller acres, 1 acre, you're still at 43, which would be, again, higher than that if the other acreage was combined and converted to commercial. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we have, the staff is recommending denial based on several findings of the Land Development Code. Out of the 16, I think there was 9 of them that they
Correct.
objected to.
They objected to based on, they
It's
want to stay
enunciated.
commercial property instead of residential property. So we maintain commercial acreage.
It's contained in your report. The items were identified as items 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 15, and 16.
Yes, that's what I
Those are
have
in
as
your
well. yeah.
packet.
So at this time, if we have a motion, it would either be for a motion to approve or a motion to deny. And the motion to deny would align with city staff's recommendation.
These are just recommendations to city council, so that's all you're looking for is a motion with regard to the request by applicant to either move to approve and/or move to deny based on the Land Development Code and the presentation this evening.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend denial of ordinance number 2025-07 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Snyder. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
All right, we have a second from Ms. Bridgeforth. All in agreement or in favor of denial of ordinance number 2025-07?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Russell?
No.
No? Okay.
Okay, just for clarification, the ayes, if you'd raise your hands, in favor of the motion was
Raise your hand.
4-1. So Mr. Alexander was voting nay. Okay, passes 4-1. Motion to deny. Recommend.
The motion for denial passes, yes. Now we have ordinance number 2025-08. Do we have a motion for that one?
I'd like to make a motion to recommend denial of ordinance number 25-08. No, sorry,
Correct.
2025-08, based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Snyder. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Ms. Douglas. All in favor of denial of ordinance number 2025-08?
Aye.
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 No.
All right, motion passes 4-1 for denial of ordinance number 2025-08. Next is ordinance number 2025-38. This is Primrose Schools, St. Cloud, and we have 2 others. So this one is an voluntary annexation. And the case number is ANX 24-00012. Second ordinance is ordinance number 2025-39. comprehensive plan amendment, number CPA 24-00016. And the third one is ordinance number 2025-40, which is a zoning map amendment, ZMA 24-00016.
Good evening, Commissioners. Bernice Gonzalez, Principal Planner with Community Development, standing in for Chao Liu, Principal Planner in Community Development. The request before you tonight is for the annexation, the comprehensive plan amendment to change the future land use from low-density residential county to commercial city future land use, and a zoning map amendment from USM, Urban Settlement Manufactured Product in the county, to highway business in the city. Regarding the annexation, the property is contiguous and reasonably compact, meeting the requirements in Florida statutes. It's adjacent to the city limits and located within the joint planning area boundary. The existing future land use, it's low density residential in the county and urban settlement manufactured product zoning district within the county. The applicant is proposing to change the future land use to commercial within the city future land use designations and a highway business zoning district within the city zoning district's designations. The development has been found compatible with the surrounding area and will have no adverse impacts to city facilities. Here is a graphic representation of the future land use as it's currently in the county and the surrounding city future land use. Same for the depiction of the zoning district, showing the zoning districts in the county and the adjacent zoning districts within the city. On or before the 31st of March, 2025, staff found the applications accepted and recommended approval, and it's requesting from the Planning Commission tonight approval of the annexation, future land use change, and zoning designation change for ordinance 2025-38, ordinance 2025-39, and ordinance 2025-40. The applicant and staff are available here for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Would you like to speak?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening, Michael Pennell, Stonefield Engineering, 400 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1950, Tampa, Florida. We're the agent for the application. We are in agreement with staff's recommendation, and we ask that you also provide the same recommendation to council, and we're here for any questions that you may have or that the public may have as well.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Okay. If we don't have any questions at this time, we will open up public comment for this. Would anyone in the audience like to speak on any of these three ordinances, 2025-38, 39, or 40? Okay, we will close public comment then. Any other discussion or questions, comments among the commissioners? All right. For ordinance number 2025-08, do we have a motion?
-38, isn't it?
3-8.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2020, I was looking at the one right above it. Ordinance number 2025-38, which is the voluntary annexation.
I would like to make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-38 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
Okay, we have a motion. Ms. Bridgeforth, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second from Russell. Uh, All in favor of approval of ordinance number 2025-38? Aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. All right, ordinance number 2025-39. This is the comprehensive plan amendment. Do I have a motion?
Would like to make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-39 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a motion recommending approval from Ms. Snyder. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. And now we have ordinance number 2025-40. Do we have a motion for that one?
I'll make the motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-40 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to recommend approval from Ms. Snyder and a second from Mr. Alexander. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. All right, next is ordinance number 2025-41. This is for Palm Properties, and the first one is a comprehensive plan amendment. And we also have I think it's a zoning map amendment, which I'm going to go ahead and read in the first one. For 2025-41, comprehensive plan amendment is case number CPA 24-00010. And for the second, ordinance number 2025-42, it's a zoning map amendment, case number ZMA 24-00009.
Good evening. Ralph Keith, Associate Planner with Community Development. The case before you tonight is for a comprehensive plan amendment and zoning map amendment for the project known as Palm Properties. Currently, it has an existing county future land use of low-density residential and the existing county zoning of AC agricultural. They are proposing a future land use of medium-density residential and proposing a zoning of R2 single-family dwelling. It's compatible with the surrounding area and will have no adverse impacts on city facilities. Here is a graphic representation of the location of the property. And here is a representation of the future land use, as well as the zoning for the property. On or before March 25th, 2025, staff recommends approval. Likewise, it is requested the Planning Commission also recommends approval for ordinance number 2025-41 and ordinance number 2025-42. Staff is available for questions.
I have a question. Is this, I believe this is adjacent to another parcel that was voted on in the February meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, it is adjacent to the Nona Townhomes project that was just heard. And
Thank
then
you.
also this parcel was annexed earlier this year into the city. So we're assigning the future land use.
All right, thanks for
You're welcome.
clarifying. Anybody else have any questions for city staff? Okay, is the applicant present? Would you like to speak?
Matthew Verghese, 4732 Red Pine Way, Wesley Chapel. We don't have anything to say much, but if you have any questions, I can try to answer anything.
All right, thank you so much. Do we have any questions for the applicant? No?
No.
Okay. At this time, we will allow for public comment. Would anybody in the audience like to speak on ordinance number 2025-41 or 42? All right, we have nobody that wants to speak, so we will close public comment at this time. Any other discussion that we would like to have? Can we look at the future land use again for this, for the city? Okay, so the future land use is low density residential, and so the applicant is asking to amend that to medium density city,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, yes.
That's correct.
So right now, the one side of the properties is the medium densities, correct?
Right. And then also the properties to the south were also just approved for a higher density as well. So it will suit the area.
Didn't you say this was already annexed,
Yes.
right? Why is it changing from low density county? Then wouldn't it be changing from whatever designation is it is in the city?
Right. Usually it is the common practice to follow the classification. They are requesting to, I believe, build duplexes,
Mhm.
which would require the change to medium density.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that will also be in conformity with the area.
But at this time, the annexation has taken place, but there has yet to be a comprehensive plan amendment to the land use.
Correct.
That's why it's before you. Because
Okay. So this is just stating what it was in the county
Correct.
before it was in it.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to clarify
And
that.
with the
That's all.
zoning the same. They're bringing this for land use and zoning changes since the annexation has taken place. So that's how this is before you. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Would anyone like to entertain a motion on ordinance number 2025-41?
I would like to make a motion to recommend the approval of ordinance number 2025-41 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a motion for approval from Ms. Douglas. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second from Ms. Snyder. All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
4-0. No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion passes 4-1. We have Mr. Alexander is no. Okay, next one is ordinance number 2025-42. Do we have a motion for that one, to recommend either approval or denial?
I would like to make a motion to recommend the approval of ordinance number 2025-42 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a recommendation for approval from Ms. Douglas. Do we have a second?
Second.
Was that Ms. Bridgeforth?
Bridgeforth,
Yes.
yes.
All right, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
All right, motion passes 4-1. Next, we have ordinance number. Sorry, I lost my place here.
Okay, it's agenda item K.
Yeah, agenda item K,
Yes, sir.
ordinance number 2025-28.
Yes, sir.
This is encumbrance annexations for zones 1, 2, and 4.
Good evening, Melissa Dunklin, Director of Community Development. This case before you tonight is for the encumbrance annexations for zones 1, 2, and 4. The properties are located within the joint planning boundary area of the city's joint planning area with the county and are contiguous to the city limits and are reasonably compact. The notices of encumbrances are a covenant that are recorded in the public records of Osceola County and remains connected to the property in perpetuity. The notices of encumbrances are signed when the City of St. Cloud provides potable water and or sanitary sewer services to a property in the unincorporated area of Osceola County, but within the joint planning area of our ultimate city limits. And so essentially, even though Toho Water Authority now maintains the city's water and sewer services. The city still owns it, and so prior to the applicant getting a development service agreement with Toho Water Authority, they still have to sign an encumbrance agreement. But in the cases of these properties, the encumbrances were signed when the city was still maintaining its own water and sewer services. And once the property is encumbered, it allows the city to process a voluntary annexation to bring the property into our city limits, and the encumbrance continues to be valid even when the property is sold or transferred. Some of the benefits of annexing into the city is the higher quality of service, local government accountability, local representation and local decision-making, and a business-friendly environment. Staff held 2 community open house meetings on Wednesday, March 5th of 2025 and Thursday, March 6th of 2025. Staff is recommending approval of the encumbrance annexations as this is a city-initiated project. Likewise, we are requesting that Planning Commission recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-28, and staff is now available for any questions.
Mr. Chairman, if I could make just some quick comments to the commission. Again, on this, working with City Attorney Dan Manzares, the matter is properly before you here tonight. This is a recommended advisory action. This is not final action. Final action will come from the City Council at a later date, later this spring or summer. And so this is properly before you here tonight, properly noticed and so forth with regard to that. And the encumbrance piece runs with the land. When that agreement is reached between the property owner at the time that the agreement to receive water and sewer is reached, the encumbrance is recorded and acts as constructive notice to future owners of the subject property. It runs with the land. It tracks the land. It doesn't track the owner. Okay, for simplistic description. Biggest comment is take all the public comment that you possibly would like to tonight, but you're not here to answer any questions. All right, so but take all the feedback you care to take and ask any questions of the applicant that you wish to ask and or your attorney, me.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Before we open public comment, first of all, does anybody have any questions or comments for city staff?
I've got a question. We asked this last time this came up. So when a piece of property is bought that has an encumbrance, are the property owners notified at that time when they buy the property that there's an encumbrance on the property?
I'll let the attorney answer that question.
When you buy a piece of property, obviously everyone's different, but you're on constructive notice as to what is affecting the land you're buying, whether you get a title opinion, you do your own research or diligence, but those are encumbrances that are public record. They're recorded on the public records. And so you take subject to the covenants that run with those lands. So you may or may not be on actual notice if you haven't gotten the proper title opinion or didn't finance the purchase. Maybe you did it with a cash buy or something where you might not have looked terribly closely. But by those encumbrances being recorded, future subsequent property ownership is on constructive notice for what runs with the land.
So in a perfect world, the title company would have notified the buyer that there was an encumbrance.
It could be those, the title opinions are commonly purchased for those types of issues. And financing is many times not issued if there's a title problem that can't be corrected. And so those are all common types of issues that a prospective buyer encounters when considering to make a purchase. But the encumbrance is properly recorded. It's constructive notice to any future owner, and they take subject to it.
Thank you.
The only thing I would make as a comment is, because I've seen some discussion on these types of issues, is that this is not a transfer of ownership on these properties. This is moving, the property owner owns the property, they own it. But it's moving from county to city if the annexation takes place. That's what changes. But ownership to the particular owner has not changed. So that's important to keep in mind. This doesn't affect title, but it just affects the property itself as to whether it's within county or city limits.
Thank you.
I have a question real quick. So we will be voting tonight on whether to recommend approval or denial for the annexations in zones 1, 2, and 4. On the slides, was everything on there, or was there a little bit more on the map that we received? I think there was.
It looks like on the presentation that the small piece of Zone 3 is not on the photo up there. So it
Okay.
is contiguous to the Edgewater West annexation that you heard earlier tonight.
Understood. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
Nope.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Do we have any other questions for city staff before we open public comment? All right. At this time, we will open public comment, and I have 2 individuals that have already submitted a form to speak. And this is a reminder that if you would like to speak on this ordinance, please fill out one of these forms. The first one I have is, and forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Greg Pikus. Is that correct? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce that?
Usually only correct 50% of the time. Ficus.
Okay. So that I don't feel so bad.
Please, everyone, make sure to state your name and your address clearly for our record when you make your presentation. Thank you, sir.
My name is Greg Pikus. My address is 2660 Red Bush Terrace, of course, St. Cloud. I'm in the Twin Lakes 55 plus community, and
I'm sorry, can you get the mic a little closer to you? You're tall, Mike.
Oh, I'm
Sorry.
in the 55 plus community over there. And I've been trying to connect with the city many times, talked to a lot of people here about, because I want to build a pool in my backyard. And I'm concerned about this because this was blindsided me. And I will speak to that later, how I was blindsided. But this whole annexation is I'm not comfortable with. First of all, I've looked for documentation through the city on this smooth transition and the process involved going from Osceola County and to the city. And there's nothing documented. I talked to the project manager, and there's nothing documented. So I talked to Osceola County director over there, and he says there should be something in writing by now. I mean, it was 3 weeks away. You guys are going to vote on this at the city meeting or town city meeting. And I don't see anything documented on how this is going to work out, these setbacks for the pool. And they're different between the county and the city. So that I was going to try to hurry up and try to get my pool built beforehand. I have not seen any documentation. I can't get any answers. So I thought I'd come here. And I'm not going to ask questions.
Yeah.
But I'd like to have somebody help me on that and give me a name of somebody to get me that documentation so I can see how this process is going to play out, what setbacks are. Because there's things like where the placement of the pool equipment, it's got to be in the backyard, I've been told by pool contractors. And it causes a lot of headaches for me and a lot of adverse things. I can't put the pool equipment in the backyard because of the I got windows open and they should be on the side, and then I've got to write variances, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a big headache for me. So I needed some help with that. I talked to the building manager and the project manager. I've called many times. I don't get any responses from anybody. So can somebody help me today? Anybody? And the next thing is I can't get, I get conflicting stories on effectivity date, when this is going to happen. And I went to the orientation. Everything is, conflicting. I can't get a direct answer. I'd like to get that question answered. If somebody can tell me. I've been told next week when they, or 3 weeks from now when they vote, that's going to be effective date. And I've been told at the orientation meeting, at the end of the year, January 1st. Other thing is I want to speak for everybody in my community, 55 plus community. They are not happy with this. This is going to have adverse reaction on a lot of people, senior community and fixed incomes that can't, are going to struggle with the financial difficulties. This is not going to add value to us. It is not a value benefit to us at all. We're fine the way we are right now. I'd like to have this recommendation not to approve this or delay it some way. And that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I would like to ask if the city staff could you answer his questions about the setbacks specifically? And I don't know if you know anything about when it would take effect if it were approved. You may or may not.
Yes, I can answer
But
both
maybe address the
questions.
setbacks first.
Sure, yeah. So regarding the setbacks, once the property is annexed, we have up to a year to assign the city's land use and zoning. So in the meantime, until the land use and zoning is assigned, we will honor the county's land use and zoning. And so whatever they're allowed to do in the county right now is what they will be able to do in the city. So whatever the setbacks the county requires for that pool, we will require the same setbacks.
For up to a year, you said?
Correct.
As this is similar to the comment earlier about chickens and that sort of thing, it's similar.
It's similar in that.
Except that one probably doesn't have an expiration date like this
Right,
one.
exactly,
This one
exactly.
is more
Right. Right.
related to the zoning ordinance and what's required, right?
Correct. Correct. And then regarding the effective date, so first of all, this item is scheduled for the May 7th City Council meeting. So on May 7th, when City Council makes their final decision, if they approve it, then it'll be effective that evening. I think where the confusion is coming in is that it won't hit the city's tax rolls until the beginning of the year.
And there is a tax differential between the county and the city.
Yes.
Question,
Yes, ma'am.
just for my clarification. You said when city council, if they approve it May 7th, what is exactly what would be this gentleman's effective date? Would he still have to the end of the year? Or is that effective immediately?
So their property will be located in city limits, effective immediately, except I believe there's a 30-day appeal period. But so long as there's no appeals that delay it, then it's effective immediately, meaning that they're in city limits right away. But actually hitting the city's tax rolls will not be until the beginning of the year of 2026.
26, correct.
Okay, so he would still have time to finish his pool before the end of the year.
Yes,
It's a whole year
It's
for
a,
that
it's a,
one,
year-
right?
as Ms. Dunklin stated, it's a year. Once the annexation were to be finalized and the property becomes city property, the city would honor what's currently in the county with regard to setbacks and such for a calendar year.
For a calendar year, okay.
Up to. We
Up
could
to.
do it quicker.
Up to.
Up to.
Up to a
So
calendar year.
It,
Okay.
essentially, they would come to the city to apply for those permits rather than going to the county. But the city would honor the setbacks of the county. So we would not change that without proper notice and bringing it back to a public hearing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question about the workshops.
Sure.
I'm just curious, were the property appraiser or tax collector's offices, were they involved in those at all?
They did not attend those meetings, no.
Okay. The reason I was asking is because maybe they could have provided more insight on the tax issue.
Right. So what we did at those meetings is we had our finance department and staff work with the property appraisers' data, and we did give out projected increases, or I don't know if anyone decreased, but we gave them projected or estimated taxes, and then we told them to contact the property appraiser's office for the true number, but we did give estimates.
Okay, thank you. All right. I have next on this item, it's very difficult to read, Islo or Islo? Islo.
Good evening, everybody.
Eskandar, is that?
Eskandar, yes.
Okay.
Thank
At least I got the last name correct.
Yeah, I mean, my handwriting is horrible, so that's a given. So, I want to oppose this.
Just your name and
Oh,
address.
sure. So
I'm
sorry.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yeah.
That's
Name
fine.
is Isho Eskandar, 2087 Berlante Drive, St. Cloud, 34771, Sola Vista Community. The lucky man that was voted president of the HOA, so here I am. So this voluntary annexation had a notice of encumbrance signed in January 2015 by the purchasing property owners at that time. Now, these guys are developers. When they purchased it, documents are notarized beautifully, give them credit for that. However, when the plans are approved, and Mr. Morgeson said that these encumbrances are placed on the land, how are they tied to the land when it comes to the record keeping of the city and the county? What do they put it under? Is it a parcel ID, a lot number? Is there anything like that?
It's part of the public records on the property, but again, the commission is here to hear your comments, but
Yeah, no, I was just curious
Yeah.
for myself,
Right.
For that part.
it's an incumbent, it's recorded and made part of the covenants that run with the land.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. And just like the gentleman, 55 and over community, I am on the outer end in Sola Vista. If you can bring up that map again, you'll see that little box on the top right. That's our community. We are literally
It's on 192, right?
192. Yeah, if
A
it's
little
the
bit
top right. Yep, we're
East of
all farmland
Narcoossee.
from us all the way up until you hit Harmony. The only thing is to the left, we have Live Oak Lake, who's I believe is in the city limits. But as you can see behind us, not in the city limits. To the right of us, not in the city limits. In front of us, we're kind of on the edge. And again, a lot of us, we bought the property based on the tax that we had to pay for the year, as well as being so far out that, not being bothered. But again, my question is not that can the city do it or not do it? Obviously, we're here because the city is doing it. But is it right is my question, right? You have somebody making a decision for 120 owners 10 years before those owners purchased those properties. We're in 2025. Our last property was sold, I think, in 2023, so 8 years, right? I'm sorry about the time, but I think I don't want to say unethical, but it's not right to have one person make a decision when you have 120 houses there. And, looking at the documentation, I did find a few mishaps, and I'm no lawyer. So believe me, I'm just reading through and catching some things. So I would like to bring that to the
Yes,
cities
I would suggest that you
at
do
that
attend
council
the-
meeting.
the
Yep.
council meeting on the 7th.
Yeah, but I know we have the days and showing, but to get an $1,800 bill increase within 3 years of moving to a new place because you wanted to pay less in taxes, you wanted to have a better life with your family, is a big hit. And I work, right? if you're on a fixed income, that's a lot of money.
We do understand. I'm
Yeah.
sorry I have to cut you off. 'Cause
No,
of
no
your
problem.
Time, we have other people that do need to speak.
Yeah, but if we can't explain how that can happen, and I know it's on the land, but it's just when something's right, it's right. When something's wrong, it's wrong. And that little section on the top right, not just because it's me, it just doesn't look right. It's out. It's off.
Understood.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
And before I call the next person, I just want to comment and say that we, as a commission, we have discussed this matter in previous meetings, and we knew that these encumbrance annexations were going to be controversial, let's say. And so I did urge the city at that time, I don't know, maybe it was a year or so ago, to make sure that they reach out to people, inform people. And I think the city is working on doing that. They did hold some workshops. I understand that people are still going to be upset, but just want to mention that we're here to listen to everybody. We can't really make a decision based on, we can't really provide you any information on, how it's going to happen. That's going to have to go to the city council meeting. But I do urge everybody to attend the city council meeting on the 7th.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so next I have Steve, I believe it's Steve Moore. Please state your name and address for the record when you get there.
Steve Moore, 2320 Emperor Drive, Kissimmee, Florida, 34744. I had a sort of a question, and then the attorney can figure that out. He said when the water in the sewer to our community is taken over by the city of St. Cloud, then can be annexed in. We had our own water source and we have our own septics in our community. All of a sudden, one year, St. Cloud Water decided that they wanted to tap into our community and go ahead and suck the water dry from our pumps to feed the city of St. Cloud. So some of the idea that he's saying water and sewer, we only have water, we do not have sewer. So I don't know, clarification in there. The second thing is where we're located is right on Neptune Road. Our closest fire station is on Cross Prairie Parkway. At the present time, if we get annexed in without the new fire station, the fire department has to come all the way from the city of St. Cloud all the way to where we are near Parton Settlement Road. That's a long distance for an emergency call for a heart attack or something like that, where we have a half a mile down the road, we have a county fire department already there, which I don't understand either why we're going this route. The other thing is we have 60 homes in our community. On one side, it's already the city of St. Cloud. On the other side, it's already the county. We're just stuck in this little chamber there and they want to take over us, and we're happy the way we were. Again, we're going to have our taxes increased by nearly $900 per home, which isn't a big thing because we're working people in that community. We're not retired. But I just don't think it's fair. All these different things are coming up, and then they're going to annex across the street from us just about 5 or 6 houses also, which use our same facilities that we have at our location. So I just think you might want to think about, basically the first thing was the water source, in that it's part of us. It wasn't part of St. Cloud until they took our water source away and tapped into us. Now they're putting a brand new water system up and down Neptune Road, which is a disaster. If you ever going down Neptune Road, you know what I'm talking about. And that's basically it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Would anybody from the city like to address his concerns about the fire and police, the interlocal agreement? Would you like to just mention that?
Sure, yeah. I'm not an expert in that field. I'm not in public safety. However, I do understand that there is a mutual aid agreement with Osceola County, so they may or may not already be serving that area. But a point of clarification, the city is putting a fire station into Hokewah, so that will be the closest fire station.
Thank
And
you.
that's already approved, and construction plans have already been approved for that as well.
And then as far as his questions or concerns about their water and that sort of thing, I think that's something Toho, or it was probably City of St. Cloud Utilities at the time. So I don't know who would be
Most
the
likely.
correct person
Most
to
likely,
answer that.
yeah, it would not be me. But from what I do know, it can be water alone. It doesn't have to be
Water or
water and sewer. It could be
And-
water or sewer. And then another point, the properties across the street that we are annexing, the blank spaces in between, or what appear to be blank spaces in between, they are now enclaves. So you'll see in the next couple of meetings, you'll see us bring enclave annexations back to you as well to fill in those gaps.
All right, thank you for letting us know. All right, next we have Adam Bailey.
Adam Bailey, 2369 Kings Crest Road, Kissimmee, Florida, 34744. This gentleman back here hit it on the head. Number one, safety. Fire station. Our closest fire station right now is 1.9 miles away. The one in St. Cloud off of Old Canoe is 4.8 miles. That's a big safety factor, especially during school time. Have you ever tried to get up and down Neptune Road during school time? That's horrible, right? Anybody here can agree with that, right? The next thing, you were talking about title company over here. Yes, they're supposed to check for encumbrances and whatnot when they sell a house and bring a new house on. My wife works for title. I've helped her out a lot. But the problem is, it's not always written in plain language. I'll guarantee you here, all these people, if not everybody else in the communities, they had no idea about the encumbrance on it because it was not written in clear language. It was not put out by the title company or anything else. All of our taxes on average are going to go up by more than $1,000. We're all hardworking people. I have 8 kids. Me and my wife both work full time. I'm retired Navy also, 24 years. We're just barely being able to feed our kids, survive. We can't afford the extra money. We've got other people here who are retired. They can't afford that extra money. So, you know, I'm against this. Everybody else here is against it. I know I went to the meetings and whatnot that they put out before, and I asked them, what are the benefits? Well, you have quicker response time, but you won't from the fire department because there's not even one built there. You won't from police. I've talked to St. Cloud Police Department. They said they have 120 people on staff. 120 people for a growing city. I mean, I can get the sheriff's department there in 10 minutes. You can't even get them to respond here in the city of St. Cloud down Kentucky Avenue or Wisconsin Avenue in 30 minutes. You know, there's no better response time there. I don't know what benefits we get out of this. None of us do. They keep coming up with things, but there's nothing to benefit us. So, you know, I hope you guys take that into consideration. I'll be at the council meeting, and I'm sure we'll all express our opinions again, and I hope you all veto this. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, next we have Grace Paldison. Am I saying that correctly?
Hello, my name is Grace Pattison, and I live at 1401 Westminster Way, Kings Crest Development. That's 34744. I'm here because I know that my neighbors are on the verge of collapse. I believe this project may be devastating to my neighbors and myself, not to myself as much as my neighbors. They're barely making it, and I think your project is untimely, especially in the light of our government and tariffs and things like that. We know everything's going up. And also, not just the taxes are going up. Once we are in the city, our insurance, all of it, car insurance, all of the insurances will go up. So I really feel you should delay this. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next we have Richard Arleo. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Richard Olio. I live at 2338 Kings Crest Road in Kissimmee. In the Kings Crest subdivision, of course, my wife, my family, we've been there for 34 years. We haven't heard anybody complain about anything in that time. Our garbage gets picked up, our recycles, our yard waste. We have water, we have electric. People take care of their yards. It's nice, for the most part, quiet, unless somebody has a party, which we all do. As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We do not need changes. Everything is fine the way it is. And I agree with the people that have come up here and spoke. Same thing. I'm with them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next we have Richard Watson. Or I'm sorry, is it Ricardo?
Ricardo, it's
I'm
fine,
sorry.
it's fine. Same thing. Good evening, and I'm Ricardo Watson, 2371 Kings Crest Road. I'm in the Zone 1 area. So I just want to make it for the record that this is under judicial review. An injunctive complaint for injunctive relief has been filed with the county court. And mainly my neighbors, they all hit it on the head, like my neighbor said here. But I do have other questions too. How is the city justifying annexation under ordinance 2528 without obtaining direct consent from current homeowners as contemplated by the Florida statutes 171, the subsection 171.044? That was one of my questions. I also have, why weren't affected property owners made aware of annexation agreement during the purchase of their homes? Was this omission communicated to title companies or the county? In regards to Toho Water and the utility hookup, it's been stated that the homeowners agreed to annexation in exchange for water services at that time. And can the city produce written documentation or sign agreements proving this from individual residents? Let's see here. And will the commission consider tabling or pausing ordinance 2528 until the courts rule on the legal and equitable challenges currently filed by affected homeowners? So we did do also with that injunctive, the complaint for injunctive relief, there is a petition within there from my fellow neighbors that we are opposed to the annexation. I also sent a formal objection through the city clerk's office, which I thought you guys would have been provided with, and also a copy of that injunctive relief as well. Do you guys have that on hand by any chance?
Mr. Chairman, I can respond to the extent that the city is aware that a suit was filed seeking an injunction.
They can't hear you.
The city is aware, can you hear me now? The city is aware that a complaint for injunctive relief was filed. No injunction has been entered. The matter has not been heard or ruled upon by any court. With regard to the question about notification, again, as we discussed at the outset of the case, this, by way of the notice of encumbrance, that's what triggers the notice, the constructive notice for any current homeowner, and that's the notice, I think, that's being sought for more clarification from some of the attendees and commenters here this evening. But the city will address, obviously in due course, the legal rights with regard to the injunctive complaint and relief sought in the injunction. But there is no injunction in place. The lawsuit was filed. And to my knowledge, it's not yet been served under rules of civil procedure, although whether the city agrees to accept service irrespective of that, I can't say. I'm not authorized to speak on that. That'll be something worked out between city council, city attorney, city manager. That's as far as I can speak to that action. City's aware of it. I don't believe it's in your packet. As my understanding, the city, someone hand delivered to a city worker a copy of the suit within the last few days, either late last week or early this week, is my knowledge of it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and just one more thing on the notice of encumbrance. Can the commission clarify whether a notice to preserve was ever recorded by the city to maintain the or whatever year it was, 1988 through 1992 encumbrance as required under Chapter 712 of the Florida statute? That's the Marketable Record Title Act. So there has to be a notice to preserve the intent of that agreement to make it perpetual. And that's what we also want to know is there a notice to preserve that document?
Yeah.
So if any questions from you guys, I'm clear.
Thank you.
All right.
Let me respond just to the commission. Understanding the responding to the gentleman's comments, we've looked at the matter. The case is properly before you here this evening for making whatever recommendation you wish to make with regard to this issue. There's nothing preventing the commission here tonight, whether from a notice standpoint or from other legal provisions, from hearing this application and making the proper recommendation as you see fit to the city council for final action at a future date. There are no procedural obstacles in your way this evening.
Thank you.
You bet.
I just want to make some general comments real quick that, I know that because we can't really respond to your comments or your questions, it seems like it's kind of an echo chamber, but I do want to mention that our 5 council members do watch this meeting. So they will watch this, they will see what you're saying. And so you're not just speaking in an echo chamber. All right, next we have William Fisher.
William Fisher, 2373 Kings Crest Road, Kissimmee. Could you change the other screen, please? Nope, not that one. Keep going. The one that says voluntary. I'd like to look. Voluntary. That doesn't seem very voluntary to me. I've been here since the 70s. Used to be the canal was the dividing part between Kissimmee and St. Cloud. Obviously, that's not the same case anymore. Where does it stop? This encumbrance or the contiguous properties. Where does it stop? Where does it end? It's unbelievable what you guys are trying to do. All these people here are in my same subdivision, and we are not happy at all with this scenario. Not at all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have, I think it's Gary Krebs. Is that correct? You're welcome. There's only one E, so
Yeah.
and 2 P's, so I assumed it was correct.
Yeah. Gary Krebs, 1415 Kingston Way. I do have a scammer, so please pardon me. We're allowed to ask rhetorical questions anyway. I'm curious, not to put anybody on the spot, but how many of you, before you bought your properties, checked for existing encumbrances? This was the first time that I heard of it. I could have researched more. I don't know how many people really would have done that. My chief concern with this is that I have not nearly as many pets as is allowed by the county, but I have too many for the city. And when you bring in some families, I don't want to lose part of mine. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, next we have Pete Bracy. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. Pete Bracy, 2525 Hickory Tree Road, St. Cloud, Florida. I got this letter back, I don't know when the date was here, February
and they were big on this notice of encumbrance. So I checked into it to see if I had one or if I got one with a property, and I never did get one with a property. So then I checked and see if Caleb Brook Shores, which is the subdivision, if they had one with a property, and they didn't have one with a property, who happens to be me also. And I was the builder and the developer. So then I went to the title company that I used, and they have no record of it. Our office has, it still exists today, our office does, by the way. We have no record of this notice of encumbrance. So what I did then was, I called up, at that meeting that I went to, they told me to get a hold of a Caroline Horton, senior planner. Well, I called her 2 or 3 times, left messages. I'm not sure. She might have called me back once and I might have missed the call, but I never did get in contact with her. So I came here one day figuring I'd catch her. She wasn't here. She wasn't in. So that's all there is on that encumbrance deal. I would like to, if you're going to force us to annex, you should at least show us proof of that encumbrance that y'all have, that you think you have, or you may have one. I don't know. But that's what needs to be brought up. The next thing, the only other thing I want to bring up right now is you're annexing more and more and more and more, like the last gentleman said, you know, when's it going to stop? Y'all are putting 16-inch water main along Hickory Tree right now, okay? You put the pipe out. I'm saying you, and I know you all didn't do it. Toho, finally took me a long time to find out. Toho did it. They put the pipe out in January, okay? After they got the pipe out, the county come along, shut them down. No licenses, no insurance, no permits, no nothing. So that's the kind of contractor that Toho hired to put in pipe that's directed back at you guys eventually, okay? The pipe still lays there today. I've already talked to Ricky Booth, the commissioner. He's trying to find out for me who's responsible, what they're doing, why the county's got it shut down. But anyways, so far, I'm not liking this annexation bit, you know. The last question I have, I know I'm out of time. You mentioned the water and sewer. Is the sewer can't be mandatory, right? I mean, it's impossible for you to put sewer in now to homes that are existing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jessica King. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, I'm Jessica King. I live at 1408 Kingston Way in Kings Crest. I believe that's Zone 1. Again, we're not in support of what's going on. I actually worked in title for about 5 years. It was in New Jersey, where you had, I don't know if here there's attorneys when it comes to closings, but there you have your realtors, the lenders, attorneys, and they kind of go through everything. My husband had purchased our property. He wasn't notified of it. I actually looked at our title work. We have the policy. We actually have the prior policy because his grandmother owned the property prior to us. Nothing was noted in her policy. So I attempted to go on to the website online to pull the public records because I've been able to do that in the past. It was so hard for me to pull anything that had anything to do with this. And I have a background when it comes to knowing what to look for and how to look these types of things up. So for anybody else, and I never ended up finding them. I had to request them. I had to email the city and have them send it to me. And that was after we got that letter in February. So for everybody else who, I don't know, again, if you have attorneys when you close in Florida, but if you don't have somebody who's walking you through step by step, the title company is likely not going to tell you. And if it's hard for me to pull it when I worked in title, they may not have pulled it properly or listed it. It may have been jumbled in all these different types of ordinances. And, you know, there's a lot of things that get filed over. I mean, for us, I think it was decades ago that this was done. it just gets really hard for a common person to just be able, with no knowledge of this, to pull any of this without knowing. And again, it's not voluntary to us. We're a young couple and we're struggling to get by when it comes to, I mean, we're not drowning, but I do know there's a lot of kids and families in our neighborhood, and people have said already in Kings Crest that it's already hard. So when you are looking at like a 10 to 13% tax increase, I believe our home values might decrease, because it looks like in the city of St. Cloud, home prices are less than in Kissimmee. So that was something that was alarming to me. You guys mentioned the city mentioned in their letter to us that we're going to have access to all the public parks. We already have access to public parks. We've already been using these public parks. So that's not really something we're gaining. The only thing that we're gaining is a fire department, but how long is that going to take for us to actually have access to that fire department? There's already construction going on every road around us. I mean, Simpson Road, Neptune Road, any road I drive on, I'm in traffic all day, every day. So it's just, we're all frustrated. I'm frustrated. My husband's frustrated. And that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Penny Patterson.
Good evening. My name is Penny Patterson and I live at 2343 Kings Crest Road. I echo my neighbors of what was said. Allow me to say my portion. If I wanted to move to St. Cloud, I'd have moved to St. Cloud. I didn't move to St. Cloud. I live in 2343 Kings Crest Road, Kissimmee, Florida. I live on a fixed income. Maybe everybody doesn't, but I do. Changing all of my IDs, bills, and everything that comes through the mail is daunting. It shouldn't have to happen because somebody put the word voluntary. The gentleman back there asked that question. I'm putting that back out. This is not voluntary. We're being dragged. That's how I feel. It's unnecessary for my household to have to go through that. I'm asking you to hold your vote. Just put it on hold. Let us try to figure out what you're doing to us, not you individually, but collectively. I don't want to go into this whole system. I should not have to at this age in my life. It's going to cost me more money. The city of St. Cloud should not have to charge us that kind of money for the city to take us voluntarily. This is not voluntary. There is no benefit to me at all. I do shop in St. Cloud because I live on the border, which is obviously what we're all talking about. I thank you for allowing me to express how I feel. Please hold your vote. Listen to what has been said by our neighbors. They have valid points. This is not voluntary. I appreciate the time you gave me.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. And then we also have Derry Patterson. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, Derry Patterson, 2296 Jessica Lane, Kissimmee. This does absolutely no benefits to me. My water bill is going to go up between $30 and $40 a month. My taxes is going to go up between $1,000 to $1,500 a month. There's absolutely no benefit to me at all. As far as the fire station, I'm right in the middle between the one they're going to build and the one that saved my life on Cross Prairie. And if I wanted to live in the city, I would have bought in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That is everything I have that was submitted. Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
I just want to say that I'm with them. I live in Kings Crest. I'm with them.
All right.
We don't want to be, we don't want to.
But sir, if you understand,
Thank you.
if anybody wishes to address the commission, they have to come to the podium and fill out a form, please. Thank you.
I'm Giselle Rodriguez. I live in 2130 Emperor Drive, Kissimmee, Florida. And I just have a question regarding if this encumbrance is going to help us with whoever have 4-H programs, for the ones that are not in agreement with the 4-H programs. So if we convert as a city and we're going to pay more taxes and more, obviously everything is going to be come up, does the 4-H is going to be allowed for all the people in the city as well? The chicken keepers programs.
Again, ma'am, the commission's here to take your feedback, but they're not here to answer your questions. Staff may wish to comment at the end, but they'll take your feedback for sure.
Okay, so yes, so I just want to make sure that if I'm going to pay more, I don't have to deal with chicken keepers in my backyard or close to, at least.
All right, thank
So
you.
So on the latest notice, I observed where it says applicant on this here notice. You guys got this notice too, right? The applicant on there says City of St. Cloud. How is that justifiable with annexation and property owner consent? Shouldn't it say the property owner? That's why I just want to bring that up.
Understood. Mr. Chairman, if I can, the applicant is the city because of the city, again, to take you back, as Ms. Dunklin explained, when the city was approached to provide water and or sewer, the matter was within the joint planning community. The notice of encumbrance was executed and recorded, and that's what creates this process, which the city is then entitled to when the land becomes contiguous and appropriate statutorily for annexation to seek the process of application. That's what is meant by the word voluntary on that, for clarification. But the commission's not here to litigate the case here tonight with regard to notice and so forth. So I just make that general comment.
Is it not voluntary? Was it voluntary for the developer at the time?
The property owners at the time entered into the agreement with the
Right.
city and received the benefit for which
Correct.
they agreed.
Mhm.
And that's what led to the notice of encumbrance being executed and recorded on the public records, which then runs with the land thereafter to subsequent ownership.
All right, thank you for clarifying.
Yes, sir.
The notice of encumbrance is
But hold on.
recorded in the,
Hold on one second.
Mr. Chairman, we're not here to litigate the
Yeah.
case. I'm just explaining to you procedurally how this arrived to you here this evening. And again, this is not a final action matter, as I stated at the outset of the case. The commission is going to make a recommendation, whatever they recommend, to the city council to be heard at a subsequent time later this spring or summer. And that will be, the council will effectuate final action on the matter, not the planning commission.
Correct.
It's up to the chairman. Yes, sir.
What is your comment, sir?
Ma'am, if the previous woman that came before, if you could make sure to fill out a form for our clerk. Okay, thank you.
So-
Yeah, yeah.
Even the developers are not voluntary. If they're going to get water and sewer provided by the city, they are required to fill an encumbrance, which later will allow the city to annex the property. It's not a choice. It's a requirement. That's the problem. It's required for the one person, and then the other people in the developments, depending on the size, are the ones that are fitting the bill. Unfair.
All right, thank you for your
Thank
comment. I'm sorry, at this time, I think we should close public comment, unless there's anybody that hasn't spoken that would like to still speak. Sir, I think it would be best if you followed up with your concern at the city council meeting on the 7th.
I would like to hear his concern. Is there anybody that would like to second that motion? Here we go.
Please come up, sir. What is your additional concern?
Please again state your name and your address, please, sir.
My name is Greg Pikus. Its address is 2660 Red Blush Terrace, St. Cloud. My concern is I've asked for documentation. I don't know how you guys can continue to proceed with this, approve it at all. It has to be put on hold now because you have nothing documented in terms of how this transition is going to take place smoothly. I've asked for documentation. I just get verbal. I'm an engineer. I read everything more than a usual person. I will drive you nuts. And I do not hear anybody suggesting where's the documentation for this process to go smooth. You guys are going to vote May 7th.
Well, we won't vote.
Yeah.
The city council will vote.
It's a city. They're going to approve May 7th. It's spring or summer. I don't know. It's May 7th.
The city council.
Yeah,
will
it's May
address the final
7th, I
action.
understand.
As I understood, the hearing that was referenced earlier was May 7th. I don't know that it will be on the agenda on May 7th, but if it is, then that.
Okay, but right
that's when
now
we'll address it.
it's scheduled.
Okay.
And that's why I wanted to get clarification from you.
I
if
don't
that was
have
the
that
case.
information as to which day it's
And,
going to be heard.
and another thing is, if without that documentation, you guys don't have your I's dotted or T's slashed. And you can't proceed with this because of that, because you're opening yourself up to a lot of lawsuits. I'm not threatening, but it's going to be, I'm going to have a lot of this between Osceola County when I build this pool in the city. There's nothing documented. Director of the Osceola County, he says he's been through all this. He says they've always have to have something documented on this process. And it's non-existent. I talked to the project engineer. We don't have anything documented. I get verbal. I like to see things in writing because none of this, is this going to be documented tonight? This whole discussion, especially. what you
Yes,
told me?
these are recorded and they're
Okay.
put on YouTube.
And I'd like to know your name so I can talk with you later. Melissa, thanks. And this gentleman here, I was wondering, are you a lawyer?
Sir, your comments are to, sir, your
I have
comments,
20 seconds.
your comments are to the commission.
Oh, I
Okay.
just wondered, I had talked to him afterwards. That's
Yes,
all I
sir.
have.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, I'm going to close public comment. My fellow commission board members, does anybody have any comments or anything you would like to say?
I read, yesterday, we got a 1,000-page document. I don't know if all y'all looked at it, but I did.
Mr. Alexander, can you speak in the microphone?
So we received a 1,000-page document with all of the agreements and all of the things listed there, where the original developers were signing these agreements back from 1990 something, all the way up until recently. I went through quite a bit of it, and it's there. So.
All right, well, I just want to mention that, certainly we don't want anybody to have to spend more money than you should have to. Keep in mind that we are a voluntary board up here. We all volunteer our time to be here. We try to learn the zoning ordinance and ordinances and the different laws that apply to the planning commission as best we can. And we knew that when this came up to us, I feel like it's been at least a year, maybe a little less than a year ago, that we knew that these notices of encumbrance would be coming up. It was a concern at that time. And I don't doubt that it is also a concern of our city council members. I believe that they will listen to this meeting. They will listen to the residents. I don't know how they're going to vote, but I think I can speak for the other commission members here that none of us want people to have to spend a lot more in taxes than you are now. And one of my biggest concerns with this, and I believe I stated this initially when we talked about this, is especially those in areas where maybe you've lived there for 20 or 30 years, right? And the tax, the law is that your taxes can only go up 2% each year, right? And that's set in place by the property appraiser, unless you sell the property and then that sale price then becomes the taxable amount and that sort of thing. But that's why I think it's really important for the property appraiser's office and the tax collector to be involved in this. I don't know how involved they are, but that's my biggest concern is those of you that, if your taxes are relatively low now, and this is going to cause taxation based on your current value of your property, I understand that concern and I sympathize with it. And so I just want everybody to know that we're not here to take anything away from anybody. We're simply an advisory board. And I want to thank everybody that came up to speak because the city council will listen to your comments. Anybody else have anything else? All right. So this time we can either recommend approval of this ordinance or we can recommend denial of this ordinance. Does anybody want to make a motion? I'm assuming you probably don't want to.
I'll go ahead and thank everybody for being here. Like the chairman said, it's not an echo chamber. We take everything that you have to say to heart. And we can sympathize, at least I can sympathize with you in the situation that you're at. I would like to make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-28 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion for approval of the ordinance by Ms. Snyder and a second by Mr. Alexander. For approval. Do we have, all right, so we're going to conduct a vote. All in favor of approval, say aye.
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 All in favor of denial, say no. No.
Opposed.
You got to be on the microphone, please, Ms. Douglas.
No, I was just saying, it shouldn't be who all's opposed.
The motion was to recommend approval. It was seconded by Mr. Alexander. Then the call for the vote is all in favor of the motion. Please indicate verbally, and if you have to, by hand. What's your vote? Do you support the motion or do you not support the motion?
If you support the motion, raise your right hand. If you do not support the motion, raise your left hand. All right. Motion does not pass. 3-2.
Okay.
Or motion for denial.
we're
Either way,
just
motion
saying-
does not pass.
We're just saying the motion for approval failed.
But please keep in mind that this is only a recommendation to the city council. And this was important, although I'm sure a lot of you feel that you probably came up and we didn't really respond to you. This was important because they will watch this and they will hear your comments. And I urge everybody to pay attention to when this does come on to the city council agenda. I don't know when that is. It could be in the next meeting or it could be later.
May
May
7th
7th.
was the date that was specified.
Okay, so it is May 7th. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, that will be here in the council chambers. All right, thank you. All right, item number L, we have ordinance number 2025-43. This is Nova and 192. We have 3 ordinances, so I'm going to go ahead and read them all in. So this one is an annexation, a consideration of an encumbrance annexation, and it's case number ANX 25-00013. Then we also have ordinance number 2025-44, which is a comprehensive plan amendment. This one is case number CPA 25-00005.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just, folks, if you're not here for this case, please take everything out in the hall. We're still conducting business. Mr. Watson, sir, can you take your business outside if you're not here for this case? Thank you.
All right, and then the third one is ordinance number 2025-45, which is a plan unit development, and it's case number PUD 25-00001.
Good evening, Melissa Dunklin, Director of Community Development. These cases before you tonight are for the voluntary annexation, comprehensive plan amendment, and zoning map amendment for the PUD for the project known as Nova and 192. This request meets both the statutory requirements and is consistent with our joint planning agreement with Osceola County as it is contiguous and reasonably compact. The existing county future land use is community center with a commercial general, or CR, commercial restricted, and PD, planned development county zoning designation. The requested city land use is commercial. The requested zoning designation is PUD, planned unit development. This request is compatible with the surrounding area and will have no adverse impacts on city facilities. Here's a graphic representation of the future land use map depicting the current county and city land use for context. Here is a graphic representation of the zoning map depicting the current county and city zoning districts for context. On or before March 31st, 2025, staff recommended approval. Likewise, it is requested that the Planning Commission also recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-43, 2025-44, and 2025-45 for the voluntary annexation, land use, comprehensive plan amendment, and zoning map amendment to PUD. For the project known as Nova and 192. At this time, the applicant and staff are available for questions.
Thank you. All right, can we go back, I think 2 images? Oh, one more? So this was, in the county, this was, future land use was community center?
Correct.
Okay. And then in the city, they're requesting a planned unit development.
Well, their land use would be commercial. So their land use is community center and their land use in the city would be commercial.
Understood. And this is, I'm sorry, there's a lot here. It's
sure.
all along 192 from North Tyson to Nova Road, and then there's a small area just north of the property, or just, I'm sorry, north of Lake Lizzie Drive, correct?
Correct. Mhm.
And then what's the, can you go to the next?
Sure.
Okay. And so altogether, this is 26.38 acres.
Correct.
I'm sorry, 28.6.
28.6, yes.
Sorry about that.
Why is the one little parcel wedged between those houses?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The one little square, it's between a couple houses there?
Looking at the
It's on the
aerial,
satellite, yeah.
it appears to be vacant.
So this is several different owners in one application, is that?
That's correct, but they all gave their owner authorization to Billy Rocker.
I
and
see.
So he is the applicant. Agent, sorry.
So do you know what they're planning? I mean, at some point they're going to be planning something, right? Do you know what the
Correct.
plans are?
So in their planned unit development, they are asking for commercial uses along the corridor.
Why is this considered an encumbrance annexation?
Because they all have encumbrance. Wait, is this an encumbrance?
Yes.
This says
says-
applicant is requesting consideration of an encumbrance annexation.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't think that's correct. I think that we had an actual application submitted to the city.
Yeah, that was confusing me.
Yeah, sorry, we'll fix that for the record before it goes
So
to
it's just,
city
it's just a
council.
voluntary
Just a
annexation.
voluntary.
Correct.
Okay, all right. I assume they are voluntarily being annexed so that they can control that and not wait for when they are in an enclave or something like that, right?
That
Maybe.
would, maybe. I think
Oh.
the applicant can probably
Yeah.
answer that question.
All right. Anybody, any questions for city before we ask the applicant? All right, is the applicant here? Would you like to come up, sir?
Good evening. Planning commissions can take a long time, can't they?
Yes, sir. Not often, but this one was a little bit of a long one.
Okay, Curtis Arrington, CM Arrington and Associates, 849 East Oak Street, Kissimmee, Florida. We have worked for a long time with the city staff to come to the point that we are. We support staff and all the works and efforts they have completed. We're here, we're voluntary annexing, going through the process, but the key point here is to get to a PUD and the uses that we have. And it is a commercial PUD, and it is a group of individuals that Mr. Rocker has put together so that we can get this PUD before y'all tonight, and we would ask for your support.
Thank you.
And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions?
No.
Okay. At this time, we will allow for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a public comment on any of these three ordinances? All right, we will close public comment at this time. Anybody in the commission have any other comments or anything they would like to discuss? No? Okay. In that case, could we have someone like to entertain a motion for ordinance number 2025-43?
I would like to make a motion to recommend the approval of ordinance number 2025-43 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, I have a motion from Ms. Douglas. Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
All right, I have a second from Ms. Bridgeforth. All in favor, say
Aye.
aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All right, how about ordinance number 2025-44? Someone like to make a motion for that one?
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-44 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a motion to recommend approval by Ms. Bridgeforth. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second by Ms. Snyder. All in favor of recommending approval? Aye, and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
That's a new thing now.
I don't know. It just felt
It worked so
appropriate.
well on the other one, you know?
Next one is ordinance number 2025-45. Do we have a motion on this one?
I would like to make a motion to recommend the approval of ordinance number 2025-45 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a motion to recommend approval by Ms. Douglas. Do I have a second?
No second.
All right, we have a second by Mr. Alexander. All in favor of approval?
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes 5-0.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, so the last one looks like we have on our agenda here is item O. This is ordinance number 2025-37. This is Marlowe Apartments at Nova Road, which is consideration of an encumbrance annexation. Is that one? Is that one?
This one is.
This one
yes.
is correct. Okay. So this is case number ANX 25-00012.
Okay, again, Melissa Dunklin, Director of Community Development. This case before you tonight is for the voluntary encumbrance annexation for the project known as Marlowe Apartments at Nova Road. This request meets both the statutory requirements and is consistent with our joint planning agreement with Osceola County as it is contiguous and reasonably compact. The existing future land use is community center with a community center core county zoning designation. Sorry, it looks like we're gonna have to work on this presentation too. The requested, oh, sorry. No, that's my fault. Sorry. Again, I forgive me. I am on cold medicine and I'm struggling here. So this is only annexation. So the land use and zoning is strictly for informational purposes. They are not requesting a change to future land use and zoning at this time. We will honor the counties. So here's a graphic representation of the future land use map depicting the current county and city's land use for context. Here is a graphic representation of the zoning map depicting the current county and city zoning districts for context. On or before March 31st, 2025, staff recommended approval. Likewise, it is requested that Planning Commission also recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-37 for the voluntary encumbrance annexation for the project known as Marlowe Apartments at Nova Road. At this time, staff is available for questions. The city is the applicant on this one. And there's a typo on that last slide too. It should be ordinance 2025-37.
Thank you. Anybody from the commission have any questions for the city staff? All right, is the applicant here? Would you like to?
City's the applicant.
Oh, the city is the applicant. I'm sorry. All right. So now at this time, we'll allow for public comment. I assume there's nobody here for public comment. Okay, we'll close the public comment session at this time. Would you guys like to discuss this? How do you feel? Feeling good about it?
It'll work.
Got to be on the microphone, everybody. All the comments on the mic. Everybody's in sunshine.
Mr. Alexander
It
said
looks like a
will
beautiful
work.
piece of property.
Well, there's already apartments here,
Yeah.
if you haven't noticed. This
Yeah,
is
I've seen
on the corner of Nova Road and 192. This is the northeast corner, and there's already apartments there. So this is essentially just an encumbrance annexation.
All right.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion, recommend approval of ordinance number 2025-37 based on the 16 findings within the Land Development Code.
All right, we have a motion to recommend approval.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Based
Ms.
on the
Snyder?
Land Development Code. Yeah, that's right.
It's getting
Sorry.
late.
All right, do we have a
Second.
second? Okay, we have a second from Ms. Douglas. All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor of recommending approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. I believe that is our last agenda item.
Yes, sir.
How about adjournment? Can we have well, actually, I guess I should mention our next planning commission meeting is May 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. It's the day before my birthday. If
Oh,
anyone wants to bring me a cupcake or anything. I'm kidding. But anyway, anybody like to make a motion for adjournment?
I make the motion to adjourn.
All right, we have Ms. Snyder making a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second from Ms. Bridgeforth. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay, guys.
Good job.